Welcome back. I'm Marina Kim with the latest news from Kazakhstan. Here are the main stories. Two citizens of Kyrgyzstan were killed in a shooting on the Kazakh-Kyrgyz border. The verdict to the ex-leader of Kazakhstan Mukhtar Jakishev left unchanged. Attorneys intend to appeal the decision internationally. Almost half of all crops in the Chernayarka village of the Pavlodar region are lost due to the severe drought. A shooting was reported on Tuesday evening on the Kazakh-Kyrgyz border. As a result, two citizens of the neighboring country were killed and the Kazakh border guard heavily wounded. The incident might negatively impact the tourism industry, as many citizens of Kazakhstan are still reluctant about visiting Kyrgyzstan's famous Issyk-Kul lake.
Two citizens of Kyrgyzstan were killed and a Kazakh border officer wounded as a result of a shootout at the Kazakh-Kyrgyz border on Tuesday evening. Two men driving the cattle through the border opened fire in response to border guards' attempt to establish their identity. The same day, the border officers detained 5 more illegal border trespassers within 15 kilometers from the incident site. One was arrested by the Border Patrol Unit. The heavily wounded border aviation officer was delivered to the Central Military Hospital and underwent surgery at 2 in the morning. At the moment, he is in stably grave condition. The detained citizen of Kyrgyzstan has already confessed to the crime. At exactly the same time, Kyrgyz parliamentarians were inviting Kazakh tourists to visit the Issyk-Kul lake during a meeting in Almaty. The hot tourist season is underway, but Kazakh citizens do not rush to visit the neighboring state. Issyk-Kul is one of the main sources of our income, so if we offend our guests there, our business won't go well. That's why the attitude of the local people, road police and even criminal community has changed for the better. Introducing an external control over Kyrgyzstan will save not only the stability in the country, but the strategic partnerships with many CIS member states. Kazakh political scientists suggest different options, including appointment of president's advisors and even dividing the restless state into several autonomous regions. Though not officially, the issue of external control over Kyrgyzstan is already on the agenda and it will remain relevant for quite a long time. This is a real problem, I'm afraid. Currently, there is heightened security at the border. However, the frontier services will switch to the normal operations starting July 20th.
In the meantime, Kazakh Foreign Affairs Ministry is busy with initiating an OSCE summit, which was organized last time 11 years ago. Some experts say that Kazakhstan may end up taking too much responsibility upon itself, trying to reach elusive benefits of the initiative.
The Kazakh Foreign Affairs Ministry does not lose hope for hosting an OSCE summit. Now, after the celebrations of the president's anniversary are over, the world political elite will be invited to Astana either in autumn or winter of this year by the end of Kazakhstan's chairmanship in the organization. It's being pre-planned right now. Officials are deciding on the venue and participants list, as well as looking at other technical issues. We'll wait for the final decision on where and when the summit will take place. The upcoming event organization will be discussed during the informal summit to be held this weekend. 40 out of 55 heads of the member states' governments have already confirmed their participation. Experts refrain from outlining the possible themes of the talks, but some hint at the US interest in getting beneficial oil and gas contracts as opposite to worrying about the improvement of human rights situation in Kazakhstan. The USA is interested more in the geostrategic and economic issues, amongst which is hotly discussed topic of Washington's possible expansion of the military and political cooperation with Kazakhstan, including a launch of its military base on our territory, which was actually discussed back in 2001. The London University professor Bhavna Devi, who has been visiting Kazakhstan and Central Asia for almost 20 years, does not understand what is the fuss about with the OSCE, which the professor calls nothing but another bureaucratic organization.
Being a chair is not symbolic of some big status, as is perceived by people here.
Despite this, Kazakhstan's global positioning campaign based on the affiliation with the OSCE is still underway. Its outcome will depend on the negotiations on the highest levels, though experts are cautious of Kazakh authorities over abusing the status in making too many promises.
The verdict on the Kazakhstan case remains unchanged. Defense attorneys Nurlan Baysikeyev and Hamida Alkaliyeva reported after the appeal hearing on Wednesday that the city court panel found the previous court decision legitimate. The Sary-Arkinsk district court has sentenced the ex-leader of Kazakhstan Mukhtar Jakishev and his bodyguard Talgat Kustaubayev to 14 and 5 years of imprisonment respectively.
The appeal hearing over Mukhtar Jakishev's case was classified just as the entire trial. The city court has refused to reconsider the criminal case on the state-holding Kazakhstan. The court did reduce the charges to Jakishev's bodyguard Talgat Kustobayev, although the sentence made earlier remained the same. The ex-leader of Kazakhstan Mukhtar Jakishev is charged with pocketing and embezzling more than $500,000 of state money, as well as receiving several substantial bribes. His bodyguard was accused in complicity. All the appeals and arguments provided by the defense were left unsatisfied. The sentence terms remain the same, unfortunately, and we don't know the reasons why. We were told of only conclusive part of the ruling, and the full version will be given to us within 10 more days. The attorneys have several times drawn attention to the systematic violations of convicts' rights during the investigation and trial processes, including the announcement of the verdict in their absence. The lawyers intend to appeal the new decision in the Supreme Court, saying they might also appeal to international judiciary instances.
The court rejected Ramazan Yesergepov's release on parole. The Administrative Commission of the Taras City Minimum Security Prison explained its decision, saying the ex-chief editor of the newspaper Alma-Ata Info is not willing to enter the path of correction.
The penalties laid on Yesergepov served as a reason for refusing the appeal. In January, the journalist allegedly violated regulations while moving from one hut to another. But as his lawyers said, Yesergepov had already been punished for that, when his request to be transferred to a colony was rejected. Ramazan Yesergepov was sentenced to 3 years of imprisonment for disclosing state secrets. On July 6, the convict has launched a hunger strike and forwarded an appeal to the European states' leader, asking them to re-evaluate the human rights and freedom of speech situation in Kazakhstan.
A discontent with the judiciary system was expressed by 9 activists of the newly formed Berkut movement in Almaty. They act within the framework of the protest bloc Kazakhstan 2012, which unites the interest holders, mortgagers and illegitimate land developers. As their first target, the activists chose corruption in the judiciary system.
9 activists of the Kazakhstan 2012 bloc have created a movement Berkut, which will struggle against local judiciary system. According to the members of the new union, the authorities do not want to fight corruption, as the Almaty mayor's office declined 8 applications to hold rallies against corruption in judiciary system.
We have no choice but hold unsanctioned rallies now to make the justice prevail. What else can we do? We have already tried appealing to all possible parties, including the ruling party and even the president's administration.
Each activist has a record of lost court cases. Eugenie Kabanov has lost a lawsuit against the school principal, who has allegedly been extorting money for supposed school needs. Once Eugenie refused to pay and was sued immediately. The principal has been extorting money from me along with the school administration, including the accountant, supervisor and supply manager. They asked me why I haven't done repair work, and I said it was their responsibility, not mine. In response, Diarova framed me for beating her up. The court made a decision based upon the medical certification of the plaintiff, who said she had 2 sores on her neck. Eugenie was sentenced to 200 hours of community service and was ordered to compensate the moral damage in the amount of $1,500. Kabanov, though, claims he wasn't in the principal's office at the time of the incident.
They sued me for alleged slandering on the school administration and asked for about $1,500 of compensation.
After losing hope in solving the problem in the legal field, people decided to hold an unsanctioned rally, the date of which the Berkut leader Olga Banina decided not to publicize just yet, although she promised to invite independent media to the event.
A Kazakh citizen, Alexander Lopata, has won the lawsuit against Russian Federation. The European Human Rights Court has found the verdict made by the Russian court against Lopata illegitimate and admitted the facts of tortures applied to him during the investigation. Alexander, though, has already served his 9-year sentence, and all this time Kazakh judiciary has not reacted to Lopata's case at all.
Better late than never. Alexander Lopata appealed to the European Human Rights Court back in 2001. 9 years later, he is no longer imprisoned, but now the Kazakh citizen has a chance to prove his innocence, as the European justice has admitted the facts of torture applied to the foreign citizen in a Russian prison and the legitimacy of the verdict. During the interrogations at the Uchalinsk City and District Internal Affairs Department of the Bashkortostan region, police officers have severely beaten up the suspect, causing serious damage to his feet and hands ligaments.
Что должно делать государство? Ну, во-первых, выплатить компенсацию, да,
What the state should do? First of all, it must pay the compensation set by the European Court. Secondly, with the agreement of the claimant, we are going to request the court to reconsider the case, taking into account revealed circumstances, as the trial was entirely admitted to be unfair. We will be demanding to instigate the case over again upon the new circumstances.